So it's like, I'm just saying, I know what I know. So I know, man, can't nobody do this shit. You can't just do it. It's not something you could just do. But it's like, that's not a reason to not do it. Just because of, well, man-made consequences of what will happen to you for speaking up about this shit. Like, that's not a reason to not do it at all. Because you gotta do it. You don't have a choice whether you do God's work or not. When God can use you to do it as a vessel to do the work. Not up to you. It's a reason that is you. So it's like, that's something I had to learn. Like, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I ain't want to do this shit. I really don't care. But it's like no one else can. Shit, no one else will. The fuck? It ain't a can. No one else willing to do it. They all scared. They scared of the dead people. So it's like, come on, bro. Like, that's the thing. Like, everybody can't do this shit and everybody not willing to do this shit because they're afraid of the consequences from them. But then that means they don't believe in the consequences from God, because the consequences from God would be much worse than his enemies. Why? God crafted a consequence for his enemies. That's what the Lord's work is for. So you don't believe in God and the consequence for going against God, but you believe in the consequences for going against God's enemies? That doesn't make sense. It makes sense if you don't believe in God to understand that the Lord's work is the consequence against God's enemies. Based on the nature of the work, if you real about what God's work is. You want to sit around faking like it's some pretty bubbly rainbows and sunshine shit, then okay, cool. You're not going to acknowledge the nature of what the Lord's work is. But man, the Lord's work is exactly what it is, against exactly who it's against. But you got to be real about who and what that is and why. And most motherfuckers ain't real about what it is. So I meet people like trying to make it seem like God's work is some little fairy tale shit, or the nice little passing out tracks and all the shit that's not against who it's supposed to be against, for real. It's like all of this friendly is like their form of doing God's work is being friendly and on like some humanitarian shit with the enemy, instead of being exactly what it's supposed to be against the enemy. And it's like, that makes sense for people that are honest about not being killers to move like that. But it's like everybody be acting like they with that shit, and that annoys me. Because I know it's not true. Because unlike everybody talking about what they're gonna do, I can look in your eyes and tell if you're a killer or not. You can see it. If you know what to look for, you can see if a person is a killer or not. They're not hiding anything. It's in their eyes. It's not in your mouth. I said what I said. It's all story shit.